It really was quite remarkable. And look at this, Armstrong accelerating once again, and there's a gap now starting to appear between Lance Armstrong and Marco Pantani, getting out of the saddle, going back into the saddle, trying to find a little bit more strength, and he's popped.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day when Lance Armstrong would blow away the man we've always referred to as the finest climber we've ever seen in the current peloton of cycling, but he started it and Armstrong has finished it. And now Lance Armstrong has written off the riders on the climb of Hautacam, has shaken the head there by little Marco Pantani. Now Armstrong has got his chance here to end this terrible day in the Pyrenees right up there, having taken time off all of the principal players. He could well ride up to that group now containing Escartine. Tremendous turn of speed and strength as he now tries to cut down the gap to this rider here, who looks to be getting a little bit tired at last. And if anybody's entitled to be tired, it's this man. But I think he's done enough now to hang on to his lead.
Well, his gap is actually coming down pretty rapidly. 5:56 and 7 minutes 34 to Lance Armstrong. Armstrong has taken a minute out on the climbers on the climb, the first part of this ascent, and he's closing in on them all the time. He's actually at the moment just going by Nico Matin, another one of the great heroes of the day. Nico Matin was in that early breakaway of 3 riders, and he has still survived.
Which means that Armstrong is coming up at the back of the Escartine group here. Nico Matin has been a survivor today, hasn't he? What a hero. He even tried to kick in there and ride back to the group, and I think he's about to do it. He has had a wonderful ride today, and he's not going to get the position to show for it. But Armstrong moves on now, relentlessly cutting his way through the Tour de France today that's been shattered all over the Pyrenees, letting them all run like a great fisherman and then reeling them in one after another. Now he comes up behind Fernando Escartine. Yes, I keep getting his name right. Fernando Escartine and also Richard Viron. There is nobody in front now who Lance Armstrong will fear in this year's Tour. Here's good news for our man out front. He's going through now with 5 kilometers to go for Javier Ochoa. But boy, he's getting tired. I hope he hangs in there.
Well, this is the group of Jan Ullrich with Marco Pantani. Alex Zuller is the next man a little further up the road there. Zuller now all on his own, setting the tempo.
Escartine and Heras are hanging on as Armstrong kicks again, and this time I don't think they'll answer him.
This is unbelievable. He's got serious power going on here, Lance Armstrong. He's not actually attacked them now, Phil. He's just putting the hammer down, looking over his shoulder to see what sort of difficulty he's putting them into. He's controlled and he's absolutely decided on doing the job in hand. He's a very concerned rider right now because he wants to try and blow the climbers away and give himself even more of an advantage before we go up to the Mont Ventoux, a climb that he himself is always scared of. This is the man that was regarded as the king of the mountains, the fastest man on all of the ascents, and today, Phil, he's been put into serious difficulty. He showed flashes of his former glory in the Tour of Italy recently this year, but he hasn't got it here on the slopes of Hautacam, and neither has Jan Ullrich.
No, you can't take time out in big chunks like Ullrich and Pantani have done over the past year and expect to come back and win a race like the Tour de France, because that's also Paulo Nico Matin coming by. Another beaten man here in Alex Zuller. I've never seen so many tired big names in the Tour de France for years. These fellows have all tried and have been destroyed. Armstrong let them all do it and then has ridden them off.
Well, this is now Alex Zuller just trying to keep as much of his advantage as possible over the others, but he's really just surviving here on the slopes of Hautacam. He's just ridden himself up to the back wheel of Christophe Moreau, who really is riding a fantastic bike race, because he's not one of the names we would have given at the start of the day of a man who would be up with a chance of riding high in the overall standings at the Tour and riding high in the mountains either.
Well, this is Jimenez here. Looks a little bit like Miguel Indurain as he comes up behind Lance Armstrong. Armstrong pedals that low gear as he always does. Has a good look at the board there and works out whether he can catch this man, I think, because this rider now will be at 3 kilometers from the summit, the end of a long day, and I think he now knows that.
Oh, it hurts. He's really going slow. I think he has hit the wall there, Phil.
I think he has.
Because he's having a real hard time digging those pedals over the top. He has obviously suffered today 175 kilometers at the front of the bike race, and a lot of it in weather conditions like this. Armstrong now 4 minutes 25 seconds. It could all go down to the very last kilometer because Armstrong and Jimenez here are flying up this mountain.
What an amazing Tour de France. Yesterday on a flat road, the four leaders were given the same time as the finishing bunch behind them. Then we had Jens Voigt and Eric Decker past 400 meters from the line the other day. And now, Paul, it could all happen again here to Ochoa.
Well, there's Marco Pantani in the pink of the Mercatoni Uno squad. In front of him on the road is Michael Bogard, and just a little way in front of him is Jan Ullrich. But Armstrong here is showing that he is a climber. He'd actually said, just wait until we get to the mountains if you think I can't climb hills, and he's certainly proving today that he is, and now one of the greatest climbers in the sport, because he's lost a lot of weight because of that illness of his which nearly took his life, but he has managed to retain almost all of his strength.
Well, the great Eddie Merckx is commentating for Belgian television here today. He's just come on to the race for day one for him. This is the way he used to win his races. He just destroyed the opposition one-on-one, and he won the Tour de France 5 times. And there'll be very few people now that won't tell you that Lance Armstrong's going to win it for the second time. Today, for sure, he'll pull on the leader's yellow jersey.
Change it completely. It is Ochoa, Armstrong. The difference in the speed is remarkable.
Well, Armstrong is just trying to finish this off with a sprint finish here, and that might be what exactly it will be. We're 900 meters from the finish with the race leader, and Armstrong is racing up towards the 1,000 meters to go. Where he's found this strength from, I don't know. He has torn the field apart here. The crowd here cheering him on, but no, not with quite the same enthusiasm, because they want that Spanish rider to win.
They want him to win. They want him to get over the line in first position. A lot of Basque flags out here as well, Phil. We're only just over the border from Spain, and they've all turned out in their numbers to see him. There's the American flag for Armstrong, 1 minute and 39 seconds. He's ripping into that advantage that Ochoa has. I don't think he's going to do it by the line, but it's going to be very, very close. They should be in the same straight.
They will be. There is the kilometer across the road now. In the climb of Hautacam, Lance Armstrong has taken 9 whole minutes off the leader, and it'll be probably 9.5.
All the television trucks waiting for him there, but he hasn't even got to the 500 meters to go banner yet. So Armstrong is just 500 meters behind him, and a long way down the slopes are Ullrich, Zuller and Marco Pantani. They are losing big time on the first big mountain stage of this year's Tour.
He's now scoring over everybody here. And this rider has done the ride of his life. He's never won a pro race in his career. What a way to start after a brilliant escape of 175 kilometers.
Well, it was 1 minute and 23 seconds under the final kilometer there for Lance Armstrong. If in fact Ochoa looks back down the straight there, he will be able to see Armstrong boring down upon him. He's now inside the barriers. He's now inside the signs that are ticking off the meters to go. Just 200 meters to go for him now, and the straight will be in sight.
As he comes up the barriers now, the headlights are on, but miraculously the crowd has lifted. He gets the victory, Javier Ochoa, and this is a superb victory today in the Tour de France. 6 hours plus in the saddle, but watch the back of your screen there, because here he comes. Lance Armstrong, as the clock ticks down, is racing to the yellow jersey of the Tour de France. He was the first man last year to wear it and became the second and only man after that. Today he'll be the 4th man. Is he the last one in this year's Tour? Time will tell. But Armstrong today has destroyed the field in the Tour de France. The minutes are ticking off once he hits the line. A determined and ultimate impression of Lance Armstrong today as he comes up to the line. And look at that time gap. 10 minutes 35 at the bottom, 41 seconds at the top.